Can faith improve your relationship? In today's video, Cece and I, we're going to talk about some of the things that's helped us.
Yes.
Some of the things that maybe you could do to incorporate faith in your relationship growth. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Hey, Blissful friends, welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of the Blissology podcast. I am your host, Cece, and I'm joined by my husband. What's up, babe?
Hey everybody, this is Will, and welcome back. Like Cece said, welcome back.
Mm-hmm.
If this is your first time with us, please remember to subscribe and hit on that notification bell so you can be notified when we put out new videos. This is a weekly podcast, and in this podcast, Cece talks about, or we talk about...
There you go. Thank you.
Yes, I got it right. So what do we talk about?
What are we talking about, baby?
Love and relationship. That's it. We talk about being with people and loving people, having...
Relationship with people?
Relationship with people. That's it. You know, that's all we talk about. But, you know, it's been a growing moment for us.
Yes, it has.
You know, sharing our experiences and all the things that makes us who we are.
Yes.
Our issues.
Our issues. Got lots of them.
Yes.
It's okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, you know, that's it.
That's it. Okay, now let's go into our blissful moment, right? Before we get into the topic of the day, you guys know we like to talk about our blissful moment, something that happened during the week or last month. I can't believe today's October 1st already. I just can't believe that we are already in October.
Well, 3 months left.
The last quarter of the year.
So if you didn't get just to do or work on your plan, you have 90 days.
True. So what is your blissful moment, baby? What is your blissful moment?
My blissful moment this week, it was this hurricane that was coming.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It did come, but it didn't come our way, which is, we are grateful that it didn't. And I know the areas that were hit, it did a lot of damage.
A lot.
I mean, Cece was hooked on the TV, and this is, I don't think I've seen her watch the news as much. You know, it's it on her phone, the computer, or the actual TV itself. But but this week, actually, I think the day was Wednesday. Mm-hmm. Yes, we had a little bit of wind here. There's a tornado that hit about 5 to 10 minutes, actually about 5 minutes from where we live.
Yeah.
It hit the night of that Tuesday leading into Wednesday. But we are grateful that we didn't that the storm didn't impact us that much.
Right.
But for all of those people in the west side of Florida, southwest rather, that's dealing with the storm.
Yeah.
My heart goes out to my prayers, and anyone who can go out and volunteer to help, I think they're gonna need a lot of help. So if you're in that area and you're going through the storm, well, the aftermath of the storm,
right?
We feel your pain.
Yeah.
We've had our moments, but not to the extent. I mean, we've had trees down, power down, but we're talking about houses that have been flattened.
Right. Cars gone.
Whole neighborhoods completely flooded out. This was tough. So my blissful moment is that we've been spared, and obviously trying to keep, understanding there's a lot of people that are going through a very, very rough time right now. So, yeah. So that's, I know it doesn't sound like blissful, but it's blissful for us because we're here and we can sit here in our home and we have power, and yes.
Absolutely agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely agree. You know, same thing here. My blissful moment is I'm grateful, blessed, and, you know, because the hurricane was really bad.
Yeah.
You know, like the apartment, which is like not so far from where we live, they had like the roof was like, it was a mess. Okay. It was a mess. I know I sent you the videos. You were at work. You're like, oh my God, this is really what happened.
Yeah, it was very close to home too.
And right. And, you know, sometimes it's good to count your blessings just for you to be able to say, you know what, I'm blessed. And thank God for another day. Thank God for allowing me to be here. Because a lot of people are actually would want to have their home back and their cars and their properties back. Unfortunately, they're gone. And it's great to be grateful. And of course, we were told to be prepared. So a lot of us were able to move out, go to where we need to go to that we think it's safe.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, to those who were not, there's a lot of us who's like hard-headed out there. Like, we don't listen. We do what we want to do. And then when it comes and we like, oh, snap, it really happening. We Floridians sometimes, we just do what we want to do. Like, seriously, we just do what we want to do.
Yeah.
And sometimes, and I think sometimes because we have a lot of faith too, we're like, we gonna make it. We have so much faith. Like, a lot of the news that I've watched on either YouTube or whatever, they talk a lot about Floridians, how brave they are and how crazy they are. And it's true. There's a lot of things that instead of you go ahead and do the right thing, you like, oh, let me just, like, guys, listen. I was like really on the news like last week and on TikTok news with this tornado going on. So my kids and I, didn't have school. I was on TikTok watching all this craziness going on. Then I saw this older lady with her dog, and
she's walking the dog.
She's walking the dog as if it's normal day, and there's flood all over the neighborhood.
Listen, when the dog needs to get walked, the dog needs to get walked. So what can you do?
Yes, we've seen so many videos, and I'm like, wow, Floridians, we are Floridians. So listen, I'm just hoping that everyone is safe, and properties is properties. You can always replace them, but you cannot replace someone, right? So, prayer goes out to you guys out there who are in Orlando, Florida, Naples, which I have a lot of cousins and aunties up there, and Tampa. So
Fort Myers.
And Fort Myers, yeah. So now let's shift the gear into our topic of the day, which is what, baby?
How can faith improve your relationship?
Yeah, which is us Floridians. We have faith in a lot of stuff. Even though it's going to the left, we have faith that it's going to turn.
Many of us prayed for that tornado not to come to our area,
Yeah, sure did.
Yeah, but it's important to have faith, because
Yes.
I think most people, or most couples who find themselves giving up in their relationship, they usually give up based on this excuse, I call it.
Right.
Is that
I don't feel love anymore. How do you not feel loved anymore?
I don't know. I haven't gotten to that point yet to not feel love. But I think the truth is, it's more like, it's not that the love ended.
Right.
It's more like to stop working on it, to stop having faith in each other.
Right.
To stop doing the things that will, because love can die, right? Mm-hmm. If you and I, we just slowly become roommate as
Right.
opposed to husband and wife, where there's a lot of things that probably you would do as a wife and I would do as a husband, we stop doing them.
Right.
Yes. So, and this is where when we lose faith in that relationship and each other, yes, we will not be as in love as we were.
Right.
But it's not the love, it's our actions, our behaviors
Correct.
that's changed.
Exactly.
Yeah. So having faith in my partner, I trust Cece.
Yeah, and I trust
I always
you.
handle things.
Yes. Yes. So now when you start noticing that, hey, she's not folding the clothes anymore. She ain't cooking no more. The affection that we had is not there anymore. So then, I definitely will feel like, okay, something is wrong.
Yeah. And this is where it's having faith in your partner. Trust that your partner has it
Right.
in them. But trust in the relationship, because the relationship itself is what we have that bond us.
Right.
What are we looking forward? What are we working towards?
And I always say this, sometimes we take a leap of faith to marry each other because I don't know you could be like,
Could have had issues.
right. So it's literally like I take a leap of faith to be with this guy and marry this guy. Of course, we have our moment and all that, but taking that leap of faith really allowed me to love him and get to know him more and get connected and, do a lot of stuff. But if you don't have this faith anymore, it's basically you kind of like find yourself.
Well, yes. I mean, you would slowly fall out of love.
Right.
And
right. Questioning yourself. What's going on?
What's going on? Or, you know, are we still good? Do I still trust that the things that we got together, are we building it? And are we growing?
Right. If we're not growing, like spiritually, mentally, emotionally speaking, then something, either you're not connecting at the level, because some people can fall out of love, right?
Oh, yeah.
It happens all the time. But the thing is, what are you doing to rebuild that relationship? What are you doing to rebuild that trust and that faith in your spouse? You know, because a lot of time, once you lose faith in that person, it can be hard.
Well, you know, faith can easily be looked at as being hopeful that we would make something.
Right.
And the moment that you don't see this relationship getting anywhere, because believe me, listen, every relationship has their rough patch, right?
Sure.
There's moments that we hate each other's guts.
Can't stand him.
And it about to happen. As that happen, it's probably gonna happen later today.
All the time.
It's gonna happen tomorrow. But you have to have that belief that relationship is going somewhere.
Right.
We're building something that's going to be important if it's not already important, which I think once you're with someone, it's important. But you'll keep building on it. And we're both working at it, and we both trust we're doing the right thing. And as long as we continue working within those parameters.
Yes, I like how you said we both are working at it. It's not like one person, because I do come across some relationship where it's like one person is working their butt off to make this work again, to make this happen, you know, as opposed to the husband. I'm gonna throw you guys under the bus. As opposed to, it's always, to me, I feel like it's always the wife.
In relationship.
I feel like it's always us, the ladies, who's like fighting to really make, because we don't want to start all over again. To you guys, it's always easy to start all over again. You know, it's always easy. But for us, we invest so much money, not money, love and faith and trust and all the other stuff in our relationship. So therefore, for me to really like, oh, let me not keep on fighting, or let me just let it go. No.
Yeah, and this is what's important when you get in a relationship. You know why you're getting it. Not that's not me saying every relationship would work.
Right.
There's some relationship that we're not meant to be, and in that case, if it's not meant to be, just pull away from it. But don't just get lazy in the relationship. And then find it conveniently to say, you know what, I just no longer love you. When the things that you should have been doing to make sure you keep that love alive, you stop doing them.
Unless it's a third party.
And sometimes we get comfortable. And I say this to myself. We get comfortable because there are certain things that become something you expect. Right? However, I never lose hope in what we have. And because I never lose hope, if I'm called out on something I'm not doing, I just swallow my pride and do it.
Right.
But because I know that what we have has a future.
True.
And I'm willing to work at it to make sure we achieve that future.
Yeah.
And what that future looks like, I don't know it yet, but I'm hoping that it's the best future that we can have.
You have faith that you, right.
Yes. And this is where we have to look at our relationship, not from where it is right now, but what it can be.
Yes.
And having the belief that it will be. Well, if you work at it.
Right. True.
Yeah. So, but you find having the hope, the faith in your relationship, there's a lot of current things or current situations or rough patches that you may find yourself going through.
Yeah.
That faith in your relationship and in each other, and in God, obviously,
of course,
will help you get through those rough patches. So faith is important.
Yes, it is. And of course, you got to make sure that you listen. Couples believe in each other when they see that their relationship is growing and they see that, man, we're doing what we need to do for us to move forward into this, right?
Oh, yes. And this is what we have to feel each other's pulse. right? Because if your partner's you're seeing discomfort in your partner's part, you need to be able to pick up on that,
Right.
and address it together. Not be like, man, forget you're just going through your moments. I'll let you be. No.
But some dude be doing that, baby. Some guys are like that out there. They just let you, like exactly what you just said. Forget you. You just go through your moment. Yeah. I'll let you be. Like, how much caring do you really have?
Listen, sometimes ladies go through their moments.
Well, yeah.
And if you know your woman, you'll know there are times that it's not like they mean to be rough. They just kind of that. But if you know your person, you'll know what to do. But there's many times the discomfort comes from things that are not happening and things that or we've just grown apart from each other.
Yeah.
Find ways to bring this back in, because relationship is not something that will you just set it up on the day that you decide to get together, and it'll keep rolling itself and keep growing itself with you just sitting there, just be a passenger in that relationship, right? No.
True.
You drive that stuff.
Right.
Both of you.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree.
And you have to be at a point where you're comfortable enough to call each other out on things. Yeah, some of you will not like this. Some get called out. I had my moments of, woman, you don't know how much I've done.
He does, y'all. He does.
We all have egos, right? We all have egos, and sometimes our egos are bigger than our heads, and it'll get way over ourselves and make us do unusual stuff. But remember, when you're in a relationship, the goal is to how do we make what we have better?
Right.
And as part of that, sometimes we have to compromise a little bit on the things that we do.
Yes.
Because if it's something that alone I will do this, but together it doesn't benefit the relationship. So I can take a step back and maybe rearrange that. But you have to have that in you.
Right.
Otherwise, you'll kill that relationship.
Yeah.
And you have to have a common goal.
Yes. Yes. And I definitely agree when you're not helping each other out. Like, if you truly want to make this work, of course, through faith, you both pray and you do whatever necessary you need to do, it's gonna work. But I mean, if you try like your hardest, like you do whatever you do like everything, and yet he's still not working. The guy is just not cooperating, or it's not. Guy? It's always the guy. I'm just saying, it's always the guy. If you do all that it takes, because listen, it takes work. Good relationships are hard work.
Oh, yes.
Right? And I truly feel like sometimes you need to appreciate that not every day or every interaction, like you said, is going to be a good one.
No.
There's time where you're going to have to put your big girl panties on and deal with the consequences and talk about it. And like, sometimes I be like, babe, we gotta talk, or he's like, well, he's not the type that's like, we gotta talk, it's never them. We gotta talk. It's always us ladies who's like, okay, we need to talk.
Listen,
like,
if I was like her, that we gotta talk, we'll spend all of our lives just talking, right? Every 2 minutes I want to talk.
Maybe you be talking. But yes, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
I do talk. And talking is important.
And you tolerate me too sometimes. And I feel like you have to talk. You have to be
when you
like,
love someone, you got to learn to tolerate them. Love has a lot to do with tolerating. I tolerate
you too.
There are things
that's what I said. It's a hard work.
There are things that happen between husband and wife. If we were married, we'd say, you know what? Forget you.
Peace. Bye.
So, and this is where having faith on what you have, believing that you have something important, you can let these little things go by, because you would find ways.
Right.
And when you look at it, it takes understanding. It takes swallowing your pride. It takes being humble.
Yes.
Because when you believe you have something good, you have faith in that relationship. You have faith in growing it. You see it being the best that you can ever make it together.
Right.
You want to set the right example for your children. You want to be a beacon in your community to maybe lead the right movement. If you believe your relationship can help you do all that, there's little things you won't let get in the way.
Right.
Maybe Cece said the wrong thing. I got pissed, and then I go sit in the corner. I thought about it, and I came back. I told her, you know what? You were wrong for this. And then, yes, we'll have a conversation about it and find out why it was wrong and why it shouldn't have been. And the same thing goes for me as well. That doesn't mean I wasn't pissed. I was pissed, but we go back and make good with it.
Right.
And if I'm wrong, I'm accepting the fact that I'm wrong. And if she's wrong, she's expecting that, she's wrong. It's much easier for me to admit that I'm wrong than she is.
That's not, well, I like to let you know why. I'm not going to say, yes, I'm wrong, but here's why it's this way and that way. I'm one of those people where.
Like I said, it's much easier for me to admit that I'm wrong than she is. It's kind of how it is.
No, we're going to talk about it.
Yeah. It's difficult for someone to prove you right with me if you're clearly wrong. If I just want to make you stop, I'll just say, okay, you're right. And I'll just.
So when you do that, you just want to make me stop.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Yes.
That is so wrong.
Why not? And listen, I'd rather have her, if we're having a discussion, I'd rather have you cool off, think about it, and then we can pick it up later. Because sometimes.
I'm not a later person.
Sometimes.
Let's talk about it now. And conclude on it too.
Egos can get in the way so much that you don't see the fact that you're wrong. You just see, you know what? I'm right. And I'm right. I've already said I'm right. And if I'm wrong, I lose the battle. So I'm going to keep going. Listen. When you're with someone, sometimes you know how they are and you tolerate them and you give them time to think about what was going on. And then we can.
That is messed up.
This is all play into understanding what you have with each other. Mm-hmm. And knowing that it's bigger than anything, little things that may come in the way. And as long as you know that you have that, any arguments, I don't care if it's a heated one or a not heated one.
Yeah.
A disagreement that may span over a couple of days, you'll still get back together and you'll be able to sit on the table and discuss it.
Absolutely.
And if I have to tell you you're right, keep you quiet. I'll say that. That's messed up, right?
No, I'm one of those people where let's talk about it. Let's see what I did wrong in this scenario here.
Yeah, and
because I know you don't want to talk about it. You're like, okay, you're right, babe, because you don't want to talk about it. You want to move on. But I'm one of those people where I don't want to talk about it tomorrow. I want to talk about it now and then conclude it and keep it moving.
One thing that I've learned, I've taught myself is that there are some things that sometimes it's not as important to put a lot of time into them. Things that we can go without, right? Yeah, like there's little things, especially if it doesn't involve anything in the family. Like I don't like to talk about people. So if it's something about someone that has nothing to do with me,
my husband's lying right now. Baby, you love talking about people.
No, I don't like to talk about people.
He's not telling the truth, y'all.
I don't have the time to talk about people.
But you be wanting to hear the tea. Like, what's going on, baby? No. You do that, baby. You do that.
No. But you know what?
It's okay.
And this is where that communication comes into play. It's important because we keep that line of communication open. Although I said
we do.
If I want Cece to stop, I'll just say you're right. No, I'm not gonna let it just be wrong and stay wrong. I will make sure that she knows, okay, this is what we did. But I catch at the right time where she's not in a state of arguing. And we can sit here and laugh about these because we've had, I tell you, so many conversations that
a lot.
She's become a pro at articulating her points. I've become a pro at understanding where she's coming from. And even if it's something that I may not have supported to start out with, but when I sit and listen to see, where she's, where her reasoning is, it makes sense. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I think I know stuff, but I've learned over the years that there's a lot of stuff I thought I knew. There's a different way, a better way that I could do it. And I've learned that through, because her and I, we think differently. But be open to hear.
Right.
And to listen to the other person's view. And this is where communication is important. Because if you're working on this relationship, you have to be able to listen to your partner. Because if your point is always the point you want to get across, then you'll never learn anything. And I've learned that.
Yeah.
I think I have.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have. You have learned that. And I definitely agree with you. Communication is definitely the key to the door Okay, so any relationships, like if you want to get it with a girl, you need her. You need to get to her door. Make sure you know how to communicate with this girl. Yes, because communication is everything. Okay, and you gotta know how to communicate with your partner and where you are, where you stand, and how you want to make things better. Like my husband said, a few years ago, I was not like that. I mean, I would try to figure things out, what to say, what not to say. But, you know, over the times where I'm like, now I'm able to put my big girl panties on and have a one of those like,
well, tough
conversation with him without like start crying or without like I don't want to talk about it no more, because I'm one of those people where I used to be like yes I used to be more like I don't want to talk about this no more, I'm upset, let's just move on.
Be honest with yourself.
Sure.
You gotta be honest with yourself, and that's something that the more you conversate with your partner, you'll find that it becomes easier for you to lay out your vulnerability.
Yes, absolutely.
And you got to be honest in the things you do right and honest in the things you do wrong.
Yes.
And again, having faith in the relationship you have, knowing that relationship, regardless of what it is, the only way it's going to work is if you make it work. And you trust that your partner is working on making it work. You trust that you are working on making it work. So, yes, lay out the things that you bad at.
Right.
And lay out the things you're good at.
Yes. And of course, when you have faith, that means you are patient, right?
Yes.
You got to be patient. Because, you know, a lot of times we want God to make it happen today. Like, make it happen, God, make it happen, God. But we're so impatient. We're not like, okay, God, I know you're working on it, but I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait because I know it's going to happen one day. So, of course, if it's something where you're like, you want to make this work through faith, and you know that God is in the middle of you and your partner, and you know that God, or whatever that you are going through, he's there with you. And he's testing you to see if you're really going to wait and see how this is going to turn out, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, patience is definitely the key, definitely important. Definitely something that if you don't have it, man, you like, all right, this didn't work. Next, this didn't work. Next, and what you're gonna find yourself is you're just gonna find yourself some.
Well, you're gonna cause added stress,
right,
for both you and your partner, and that's never good.
No.
And sometimes you'll find that you'll venture down the wrong road because you weren't patient enough to wait to give this enough time for this to work.
Why can't this work? Why can't this work? Because either we're not putting enough work to make it happen.
Yeah.
Right? Or you just see it, or you only see it where it's only on your side. Oh, I'm doing all the work, but you're not doing anything. How about
if someone's being lazy, they need to get called out. If you're not doing anything to help the relationship move forward, you need to get called out.
True.
Yeah.
You're right.
So
you're right. And there's going to be agreeing to disagree. Every relationship, point blank, period. We going to agree to disagree on some things. That's how it is. If I'm always agree,
different people,
right? If I'm always agree with whatever you said, or you always agree with what I said, then
someone's lying to the other person. But yes, I mean, we're different people, and as much as we would spend the rest of our lives together, we have to understand that our views can be different, and that's no reason to be enemies either.
Right.
We can have different views,
right?
But we can still live with each other.
Yes. I think it's very healthy.
Oh yeah.
A lot of time we're like, baby, I don't think I agree with what you said. I don't think I agree with this idea.
But it makes sense.
But it makes sense. When it comes back and it's all right. Then sometimes I'm more like, okay, let me go think about it. And it's good to just reflect on things and like, you know what, baby, you're right. Had you agreed with what I said, then we would have never had this turn out. So it's okay to agree. I don't have to agree with him all the time, and he doesn't have to agree with me all the time. I cannot stand a relationship where the husband feels so powerful because they feel like I'm the household, or I'm like the king of the castle. Therefore, what I say goes. Therefore, what I say. Therefore, then it's like, then it's not 50-50 anymore. If you're the king of the castle, then you're like 100 and I'm 0.
It's not written anywhere that anyone's 50. Well, listen, some relationship has one partner is more dominant than the other.
Yeah.
And where the line is drawn, I don't know. But if you're in a relationship, if you want to make sure your voice is heard, this is where you got to make sure you communicate that.
Communication is so important.
Yeah, and yeah, some of us are better at certain things than others. And if you're better at something, you might as well just take the lead.
Right. But doesn't mean that you're the king of the castle. I mean, if you marry someone, that means
a castle always have a king and a queen. You can be the queen.
Correct. And that's sometimes some men don't see it that way, babe. They see it where what I say goes, whatever I do, it's the my way or the highway. I'm not going to agree with what you said, and you gotta abide by what I say. Obey with any decision that I make. But what about me? What did you marry me for? To just be here, sitting here, and be what? A puppet? Not say anything?
I don't know.
Come on.
But if anyone find themselves in a relationship like this, then you got to ask yourself: is that what I want? Does this make me happy? Am I good? If you're good, you're good. If you're not good, then you got to make sure that your partner knows that you're not good.
Right.
And where that leads, be ready to deal with it.
And be bold. Be bold. I think when it comes to faith and bold really, really connect with each other. Because you got to have faith for you to talk to this person and like, hey, listen, I'm going to be bold. I know I have faith. I have God with me. I need to confront you and answer this question. I need to know, what am I being here for? What's going on? We are in this rocky relationship, or we are not communicating well, or things are not going the way that
expected it,
right, or the way that I used to when we got married years ago. So yes, you gotta be bold and have faith to confront this person, and sometimes it's hard.
Life is not easy. Relationship isn't easy,
but through faith you can conquer everything.
Well, yes,
everything. Okay,
listen, faith is powerful,
very powerful,
and if you have it, it allows you to see beyond what can be seen. Mm-hmm. It allows you to think beyond what's possible. And if you're thinking that way, you will do things that you never thought you could do.
Right. Yes.
So be strong where you are and make sure that you're very open with your partner.
Right.
And yes, you have faith in God. Share that with your partner. You should be very open as to what you believe in.
Right.
And hopefully your partner believe in the same thing you do. But
I hope so.
If you see yourself having a future together, there may not be from the get-go. And you can make the decision, is it something that makes sense for you? Maybe you might be the one that ended up helping this person believing.
Right.
And this is where working at this is important, because we all complement each other in a relationship. We all support each other. We all help each other see things better. And at the end of the day, we're a couple for a reason. It means we are together.
Right.
And when we make that commitment, many times it's for life. Some people make commitment for 5 years, but most of us will make the commitment for life, which means you want to see the end together. Now, our end could be a different time.
Right.
But whenever that end is, we want to see the end together and we want to do our best to make it work. And we believe what we have is something important, something we're committed to, and we're going to do all that's within our power to do. And if it's something that's outside of our power, we're going to ask God to come in between us. Well, we'll ask him every day to be present and help us face the difficulties that we'll run into. And believe me, you'll get through them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And I definitely agree. And I truly feel like before we end the podcast, like I was watching this show on either last weekend, these two couples, the husband is 103 years old, the wife is 100 years old or 99 years old. They've been married for 80 years, 80 or 60 years.
That's a lot of time.
That's a lot of time. And they were asking them this question, like, what keeps you guys going, And they're like, we believe in each other. We have faith in each other. I love him and he loves me. So therefore, we believe that we can make it until the end.
Believe me, they're making it until the end.
They are.
If one's over 100,
and they're
the
still
other one's back to hit
around.
100.
They're still around. The older man was like a player. He's like, I was a player, but I believe in her. And she loves me, and I love her. And that's it.
That's a life well lived.
I want to be like that.
Listen, that doesn't mean it didn't have its issues. I'm sure they fought years. Out of that 80 years, I'm sure if you were to add up all the time that they fought, that'll probably add up to a few years. But you know what? Fighting is part of life. Sometimes that's how we get the result we want.
Right.
Sometimes that's how we make sure that we get heard. Believe me, there's a relationship. If the partner, if the dominant partner knows that the non-dominant partner would not take anything from them, they would probably not do some of the things they do.
Okay.
Believe me, I've known cases where if the husband knew the wife will stand up and demand what she believes is hers in that relationship,
right,
the husband wouldn't do some of the things that he does. And the same thing goes if the wife knew the husband would stand up to her and demand his place in that relationship.
Right.
So sometimes it's through fighting we can get the things we want.
Absolutely.
And that's why we should never be afraid to question things that we disagree with.
You have a voice.
If we can have a conversation, we're going to have it. So,
that's it.
And listen, when we're committed to live together, we're committed to live together.
Forever.
Now, if you're not committed, then you make the decision that works best for you. But if you're committed, if you said you're committed, then be willing to do what's necessary. And it's not just one, it's both.
Right.
Trust in what you have faith in what you can accomplish, have faith in God, have faith in each other, and you go to places. With that said, I'm dropping the mic.
Hello, somebody. Okay, mic drop. Mic drop. Okay.
So thank you very much, everybody, for listening to our podcast today on how faith can improve your relationship. And and I'm hoping we've shared some of the things. Now, listen, problems is part of life, and we're bound to run into problems
every day.
But share this with anyone you think may be beneficial to. Please like the podcast, leave us some comments, and subscribe to the channel.
Yeah, subscribe to the channel. And thank you to all of you guys. As you know, as always, I'm going to say this. Leave me alone, baby. I can feel it coming. Yes, thank you to all for watching, subscribing, and commenting and all that. Like and share. We appreciate y'all. And I just wanted to say my thing. I don't have to say I like it when you like it.
All right,
y'all
so
know already.
Welcome to October and 90 days left to go.
Listen, make it count, okay? Make it count.
We're gonna make it count here.
Whatever you didn't do the last
however many days.
9 months, right?
Yes.
Make the last 3 count. Make it happen.
So until then, we'll see you.
Bye.